My next guest will face Regivaldo Carvalho at LFA 96 on December the 4th. And of course, it is Mo Miller. Mo, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. It's great to have you on the show. And you clearly are one of the top bantamweight prospects in the world. And most notably here at LFA 90, a round two RNC win over Mando Gutierrez, who was actually favored in that fight. Man, looking back at this one now, how important was that win? Not just to win, but to win decisively and finish him.
It was important. I think he was another up and coming prospect, and he finished, I think, 10 out of 11 opponents somewhere in that area. So for me to finish him, I think made a pretty good statement.
Did you feel any added pressure or nerves, because that had to have been the biggest fight of your career to date? I mean, when you're going in there now, do you feel composed as your career continues to evolve, where you don't really get those nerves that maybe some people do early on as an amateur?
Yeah, I think in wrestling, I wrestled a lot of high level guys. You know what I mean? So I know how to prepare for that type of environment. To say two undefeated guys, I wasn't new to that. I beat undefeated guys before. You know what I mean? So like maybe this was his first time, and that could have played a part. But I definitely think the experience of my wrestling life helped me stay calm in those situations.
For sure. What was the game plan going in against Mando? And obviously, getting him out of there in the second round. Are you pleased with the overall result?
Yeah, I finished, didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? So, but the game plan was to, I see he wrestled a lot in his fights, and I'm a wrestler. So I wanted to make it hard for him. You know what I mean? And make him force those takedowns and then make it a MMA fight and just waited for him to open up or make a mistake. And that's when I got the choke.
Coming from a wrestling background, you're very accomplished at that. Was the plan always to make the transition into MMA when your wrestling career was done?
No, no. I wanted to wrestle like freestyle wrestling right after college, but traveling that was costing me more money than I was making. So like, uh, I was also doing MMA in the process while I was still training wrestling. So I just
Mhm.
figured like I'm spending money here, I can go make money here, put my body through pretty much the same thing.
For sure. Now, I mean, you're undefeated as a pro in MMA. You never lost as an amateur in MMA, but you did have a couple setbacks as a wrestler. When you look at those defeats, is that something that really kind of motivates you here moving forward as you go into the MMA mats and get your training in?
Yeah, that's very helpful experience. You know what I mean? Very helpful. Like wrestling, I put a lot of time in wrestling. There's been times when I was number one in the country and didn't All American. You know what I mean? So like I understand the work you can put in and still not get what you want. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So you got to do everything right. You know what I mean? Everything right plus the work, and then you'll get your result. You know what I mean? I think those experiences definitely helped me for MMA because it's pretty much the same thing.
Hmm. My father was a state champion wrestler in West Virginia when he was in high school, and he always said, watching wrestling and all the different disciplines of MMA, he felt like wrestling was the most important discipline that if you can have something as a fighter to be really great at, that's it. Wrestling's it. Would you agree with that? And how do you feel like your abilities at wrestling has transferred over to just your overall skill set as a mixed martial artist?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would because it's hard to learn wrestling. Wrestling got so many positions that in order to be good in wrestling, you got to do well in all those positions. You know what I mean? And I think the grind of wrestling is a lot. If you stick with wrestling throughout the year to be a state champ, the grind of wrestling is a lot to be that. You know what I mean? And the other martial arts, I don't want to say it's not. They all are hard. You know what I mean? But it's a different type of grind. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of wrestlers do well because they used to. If all if all else fails, they know how to grind. You know what I mean? So I think my skills as a wrestler, I was very good at not getting taken down and taken down. I was very good at taking people down. So I was very good as a neutral wrestler on my feet. You know what I mean? And for MMA, that's like perfect. I was very good at upper body moves. You know what I mean? So all that is perfect for me. You know, like all those skills I did in wrestling, my style translates to MMA. Not many wrestlers styles translate. You know what I mean?
You guys, as far as wrestling goes, you guys have to cut so much weight in such a short period of time. What's the most weight you've ever had to cut for wrestling or MMA?
One moment. It would be MMA because growing up, my parents didn't really let me cut weight. So when I got to college, I learned how, but I didn't cut that much weight. So I wrestled 141 every year in college. I'm a 135 pounder now. You know what I mean? So I cut more weight now than I did but the experience of wrestling like helped me, if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're fighting at 135 here as a pro, but if I'm not mistaken, all of your amateur fights was at featherweight. What do you walk around at? What's the heaviest you get?
I only get to like if I'm just fat on the couch, like 155, but I'm never like that. So I'm probably like 52, 53. Yeah, that's what I walk around at right now. So right now I'm in the 40s, getting close to the fight.
Yeah.
So
that's got to be easy for you then to make bantamweight. I mean, Thanksgiving is just a couple of days away. Is there something in particular that you're just going to have to not look at the family dinner table when and everyone's feasting?
I don't even think I'm gonna go. Like honestly, I'm just focused. I'm trying to eat at this fight. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to focus on this fight. Thanksgiving just so happened to be around my time. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. My family, I think they will understand, or they got to. But I don't know. I wouldn't just sit around and watch people eat. You know what I mean? Like I probably visit my family.
What's the cheat meal? What do you typically go to? I mean, I'm a pizza guy myself. Is there something specific that you normally will have a cheat meal on when you can do that?
I like Five Guys. Like I live near Five Guys, so like after every fight, like I feel like I get that the most. But I don't know. I'll eat anything for the most part after a fight.
Yeah, I can imagine. Work up quite an appetite. You deserve to get in there and eat whatever you want afterwards. Now, before this pandemic struck earlier this year, you actually beat Justin Street. You made quick work of him. What has the pandemic been like for you since? Has it affected your training and your ability to just kind of like live your normal day-to-day life?
Probably the most part it affected is the normal day-to-day life part, just because nothing is the same. You know what I mean? But when you training and you have fights coming up, or I do, like I'm always focused on that. So after that fight, I knew the world was slowing down, but I was trying to get my coaches to like put my name in the hat or whatever. And I'll be ready for like short notice. So I just kept on training, waiting for a short notice all the way through July, all the way through. Like, and then I got an offer in July for LFA, but it wasn't lining up with it was too quick, I guess, like 1 week or something. Like I needed like 2 weeks. So it was like, and then they kept me on the list, I guess, and then another opportunity came in August, and I took that, and that was in September.
Yes,
So
sir.
training, everything's been like I always had a little spot that I went to when everything was closed down that had a cage, mats. It was private property, so I was able to get in there. So I never really stopped training. Like
That's good to
never.
hear.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's affected a lot of people in a variety of ways. So it's good to hear that you were actually get to stay consistent and get that work in. Who have been some of like your main training partners, or at least for this camp, who have been some of the guys you've been getting your work in with?
This camp been hard. Like I've been facing a lot of good people. Uh, I've been bringing in a lot of good boxers, but my main MMA partner for this camp is Josh Roller. In my opinion, he's the best 145er in Ohio, like especially on the ground with wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He's a brown belt. But he been giving me a lot of good work, man. Like, so I mean, I've been getting beat up by all these guys, so I'm finally ready to rest and finally go get me a win, man. I've been taking a lot of losses this camp, in my opinion. It's just been hard. Just with the different, my coaches made it hard on me. You know what I mean? So I guess I need it like that. So I'm just excited to go out here and get me a win. Give me a win.
4-0 as a pro now. This fight, if you get the win, it'll make you 5-0. You make perfect sense for one of them guys that could be on Contender Series here soon when the next season starts there. Like, have you been hearing rumblings that is an opportunity that is coming, or maybe even straight into the UFC? I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting that opportunity now, especially with this pandemic.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumblings. I've been hearing those rumblings since like July too. You know what I mean? So like they know my name, and when they ready, I'll be ready. So I'm just focused on December 4th because that's the one I for sure got. You know what I mean? So if I got to get past him, but I'm pretty sure the UFC or whichever organization knows my name right now. So I mean it's a business. I'll be ready when the call comes.
If there's one fighter that you feel like your fighting style is most similar to, whether they're a current fighter in the UFC or Bellator or a previous fighter, is there someone that you've been told that your game is similar to, or maybe someone that you just kind of look up to and emulate a little bit?
I don't know, man. That's a good question because MMA is a lot of different martial arts. So I don't know. Nobody really told me I fight like anybody. I like Terrence Crawford. I like how smart he is and how he adjusts and how he switches. I think I do a lot of the stuff he does. As far as like how he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like to compare how he thinks and how I think pretty similar to how he approaches it. Not necessarily the physical skills, but just like how he approaches his game, and that's boxing. But it's I don't know. I just found his mindset pretty similar.
Well, that's a good one to be compared to. One of my all-time favorite boxers is actually fighting, I believe it's this weekend, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I'm sure you're going to probably tune into that. Who do you think wins this one? And if they fought in their prime, who do you think would win?
I don't want them to fight right now, but right now I feel like if I've just seen a post about some rules too, like the rules could be different. So I don't know if they make it a regular fight. I think Mike Tyson will win just because the power. I think one punch, if he catch him, he'll put him down. But in their primes, I wouldn't bet on that fight. I wouldn't bet on that fight because I don't know. That would be a good fight.
Yeah, you just stay away from that one. Both guys are so talented and so skilled that you just never know how it could go. Now, obviously, with this next fight, LFA 96, you got to experience the protocols, the testing, all of the stuff that you had to do in your last fight at LFA 90. How do you feel that's going to benefit you here moving forward to this fight? Will it just be kind of like a better transition for you preparing to step into the cage?
Yeah, like the experience is a big part in this game. You know what I mean? So I've been there before. It would be nothing new to me. The Corona test, I got tested there. That won't be new. So I mean, the environment. I wrestled in big arenas before, so like that didn't shock me the first time. You know what I mean? So like I always thought I could be here, so the fight is what's important. Everything else we got to do. You know what I mean? So I don't put too much energy in what's around me. My opponent, that's all I'm focused on.
So it actually leads me right to my next question, because, you know, a lot of fighters, they get amped up by a huge arena and screaming fans, you know, and right now we're in uncertain times where we don't really know if we're going to have full arenas here moving forward, you know, maybe even into late 2021. How does that affect you? Do you feel like it's not going to be an issue? You're just going to be laser focused with or without fans?
Yeah, that won't affect me at all. As long as I can hear my coaches and I got an opponent, once the first punch or whatever is thrown, nothing else like really matters. So I don't care if no fans come or not, as long as they keep paying me. Like,
Well said.
what
Now,
they do.
your opponent is 5-2. Both of his losses, he's been submitted. You know, what do you think about this matchup, man? How do you feel you stack up?
I think he's a good fight. I think he's a good, tough fighter. And, I think I got some skills that he's gonna have to deal with, I'll say. So I'm just gonna make him deal with what I bring. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm just ready to fight. Like so I don't know. I just think he's a tough dude, and I'm getting in there with a tough dude that's coming to fight, coming to beat me. So I'm gonna bring all my skills, and whichever one is working, whichever hole I find, that's the route I'll take. If it's on the feet, if it's on the ground, no matter what. But I'm gonna find the hole.
Do you envision a finish here in this fight, or do you think it could go the distance?
I'm preparing for the distance just because it's all opportunity for us. You know what I mean? So I'm preparing for the best guy he brings. You know what I mean? So. And I'm undefeated, so I know he want to be the first to beat me. So I know he preparing to train hard for the 3 rounds. But we don't get the money. I can get him out there the first round or third round, and it's the same. So in my mind, I'm definitely going to finish him. But if that don't work, I'm not gonna force it. So if we got to fight for 3 rounds, 15 minutes, and so be it.
Gotcha. Now, if you're healthy and you're ready to go again soon, when can your fans and the people that support you expect to see you back in there? You want to get right back in quick?
Right back in it until we reach where we need to go. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm healthy, my coaches already know how I feel. Like, as long as I'm healthy and coming to practice every day and progressing how they need me to progress, then what is we waiting around for? Like, so I'm planning on, if I can get out of here, if an opportunity arises, take it. But if not, probably in February.
Okay. So, I know you got a lot of people excited to see you make your 5th professional fight here against Regivaldo Carvalho on December the 4th at LFA 96. Mo, I really appreciate the time, my man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. If you have anyone you want to thank or any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Thank you to my teammates and my coaches for helping me prepare. Thank you to all the supporters who will tune in December 4th. Thank you for having me on here. Thank you to all my sponsors, and look forward to a great fight on the 4th, and we will be victorious.